for 2024-2025 is presented under Article 82 of the Constitution of Uganda, Section 6E, 4 of the Administration of the Parliamentary Act, and Rule 14.4 and 147 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament 2022. It highlights opposition's funding priorities for the next financial year, which include the critical priorities that were raised in previous and current financial years but were overlooked. It also raises spending forecast for the financial year 2023-2024. I beg you, there was a mistake there. It is 2024-2025. It was a typing error. The opposition have pointed out the following key objectives for internal affairs. 1. Enhancement of the welfare of the Uganda Police and Uganda Prison for efficient delivery of security services. 2. Strengthen the capacity of the security organs to ensure safety of the people and their property. 3. Ensuring observance and protection of fundamental and other human rights and freedoms. And 4. Reduce prison congestion. Mr. Chairman, the internal affairs sector has reached critical levels in terms of welfare of both police and prison service. Police can only house 27% of its officers, and that will be after they have completed the staff apartments they are constructing at Nambooze, which translates into the fact that at the moment the police cannot house even 27% of its officers. They have today poor infrastructure, shortage of equipment like motor vehicles and motorcycles, as well as fuel to enable them to perform their mandate. They are not adequately trained and facilitated, and Uganda Police are currently conducting recruitment whose funding is not provided for under the budget estimates or even the ministerial policy statement of 2024-2025. The recruitment is an overzealous creation of a force that will man, in their explanation, the 2026 general elections as a mandate of the Electoral Commission. Mr. Chairman, Uganda Police Force grapes with a very bad and tainted public image owing to human rights abuses, corruption, and high level of insecurity. Prison service is equally faced with welfare issues that include poor housing, poor living conditions of prisoners, and skyrocketing prison population, which borders on total abuse of human rights by the state. Police is poorly remunerated, which has led to growing vices of corruption and engaging in illegalities like crime, among others. However, Mr. Chairman, there has been numerous reports of ghost police officers. To that end, a comprehensive audit should be carried out to establish the real force strength of our police. Additionally, Mr. Chairman, as we pointed out last year, police lack adequate capacity to handle criminal investigations as well as prevent crimes. The country borders are heavily porous, while the Directorate of Citizenship and Migration Control lacks a uniform electronic system. Community Service Orders program that is meant to divert petty offenders from custodial sentence, if properly financed, is not properly financed to have operations in all magisterial areas across the country. The government has constricted operational space. And lastly, it is our observation that government has constricted the operational space of the civil society organizations. Accordingly, the opposition has the following funding priorities. 1. To enhance the welfare of police and prison officers through construction of decent housing facilities for police and prisons, provision of adequate equipment for police operations, and this will transform the police into an efficient public entity which delivers its mandate of protecting life and property. It will improve on the living conditions of the prisoners and the prison warders, thereby implementing their rights. 2. We propose that we consolidate resources at hand to train police officers to enhance their skill and expertise. That recruitment should be on replacement basis unless and until a proper personnel audit has been conducted to establish the manpower strength of the Uganda Police Force. Mr. Chairman, in this I want to inform the committee that we were told, the statistics shows that officially we lose 500 police officers annually to retirement, desertion, and health issues. So it is our proposal that recruitment could be only to target the replacement of those 500 instead of expanding the force at the moment, so that we would use the available resources on, first of all, consolidating the force we have and facilitating it. Instead, but Mr. Chairman, if you would allow me at this point to give information, to give this committee information, we are told by the minister in the policy statement that the police was to recruit 2,500 officers. However, the advertisements that were run in the newspapers advertised for 4,500 vacancies. Yet, even the 2,500 personnel's salaries and wages had not been provided for. But when they went out to do the recruitment, that is ongoing currently. They advertised for 4,500 vacancies. So for us, our proposal is that the expansion of the force should be stayed, and we concentrate on consolidating the existing one, and we constrain ourselves to recruiting only the 500 officers to cover the wastage. Mr. Chairman, it's not proper for police to continue saying that they are preparing for elections. Elections are periodical, and they cannot force a country to recruit permanent and personable officers. Yet, these are people we can always hire, and people on contract. For example, during Mr. Kaihura's time, up to 11 million Ugandans were recruited and trained as crime preventers. 2, over some time, police has been recruiting special police constables and deploying them on periodical assignments. 3, there are people who have retired from various forces who are out there, and they have the knowledge to do with security. It is our argument and belief that if Electoral Commission, for example, would put out an advert to say that we want so many people to work as election constables, such people would apply and be employed on a short-time basis. After elections, they will go back to either their retirement or, where they came from. So it is not proper for police to continue expanding its force.
Yeah, but Honorable Nambooze, we are all aware that the mandate of police is to keep law and order. And you are now proposing that since this one is the responsibility, the electoral commission, it's the electoral commission's mandate to man and secure an election. So you are proposing that probably the electoral commission can put up an advert and then do recruitment. Under what mandate?
Mr. Chairman, what electoral commission should ensure during an election is that there is security at polling stations of both the voters and the voting material. Mr. Chairman, we are saying that election constables should not necessarily be serving policemen. They can be any Ugandan with knowledge and skill to secure an area, and they will be employed on a short-time basis just for the period of the election. And you see, we have a reserve force in this country. People can come, like the way they recruit election officers. We don't have a pool of permanent and personable workers under the EC who act as polling officers. These are people recruited from various fields, and then they come, give a service, and after the election, they are discharged. But we cannot continue expanding the police force just for the sake of securing an election every 5 years.
Yeah, the way we go to you,
especially where budget provisions don't allow. We are saying we cannot house our police officers, but then because of the need to secure an election, we are forced to recruit more. Yet the budget cannot sustain.
Maybe Honorable Nambooze, the way I go to you,
yes, Mr.
is that yes, you are in agreement that the elections must be secured. Where you have contention is carrying out the recruitment for the police officers, probably on permanent and pensionable terms. Maybe for you, in your alternative, you are proposing, yes, the recruitment can be done, the elections can be secured, but it should be on short-term basis. That's the way I go to you.
We are making proposals of where the human resource would be drawn. 1, people in retirement. 2, the reserve force. 3, the huge number of people we are trained as.
Maybe you can help me in your presentation. Where is it?
Mr. Chairman, when we are writing this, it was summarized. But now, because I'm here, I requested for permission to bring that out as an example, and I know that the clerk would capture it, Mr. Chairman. With your permission, I asked for your indulgence.
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I'm pursuing the proposal that police should not be expanded just because we have an election to secure. And in our alternative, we are advising government to consider using the various Ugandans with skills to secure areas. For example, we are talking about a polling station where we want about two people, 2 police constables, and in this case they are called election constables. that election constables should not necessarily be serving policemen. We can draw them from the army, we can draw them from the reserve force, we can draw them from Ugandans with skill, security skills, not necessarily police officers, that it is a very big burden for this country to continue expanding the police force just because we need to secure an election.
I think that has been well captured.
Thank you.
Clarification, Chair. Thank you, Chair. Maybe I don't know what happens to other polling stations, but in my polling stations, actually we had those temporary election constables. They were collected from this, went for some training at by DPC. They are the ones who are manning those polling stations. So I don't know what happens in other polling stations or other constituencies.
Yeah, but also besides that, we are all aware, and good enough, the shadow minister is also a member of this committee, where the police has been reporting that the ratio of the police officer against the population has been I think 1 to I don't recall the numbers, but they needed this recruitment, not necessarily for elections, but the recruitment has been reported as a critical area for the entity. But nonetheless, we allow the shadow minister to continue with her presentation.
Mr. Chairman, that matter came up because police was, according to the presentation of the ministers, they are justifying the expansion of the force beyond our budget provisions because they are saying that they have an election to secure. For us, we are saying no, we can secure an election even without expanding the police force. 3, following up on the alternative policies statement of financial year 2023-2024, we shall strive to increase the funding for the criminal investigations. It is imperative that police is capacitated enough to carry out timely and quality investigations.
Are you also indicating 2024-25 or in this?
Mr. Chairman, I beg for your indulgence. I know my clerk here. The people who did this work let me down, but I request that members change that year from 2023-2024 to 2024-2025.
Thank you.
It was a typing mistake. Ella. It wasn't a mistake. Mr. Chairman, let me read this again. Following up on the alternative policy of 2023-2024, we are proposing to increase the funding of criminal investigations. It is imperative that police is capacitated enough to carry out timely and quality investigations. We are keen on capacitating police through training and recruiting more detectives to reduce on the time lags for the investigations and prosecution. 3, develop and implement a porous border control policy. The alternative government is intent on developing and launching a robust porous border control policy that involves deploying the military on our borders, installing cameras and regular surveillance. Otherwise, the country shall remain suspect of terrorist attacks, rustling, illegal armed trade, and human trafficking if we don't put a policy in place and follow it up with actions. 5, acquire and install uniform electronic border control system to enable the DCIC to efficiently manage and control migration and combat human trafficking and ensure security of persons and their property. 6. Increase the funding to Amnesty Commission. 7. Intensifying efforts to demobilize ADF combatants and armed rustlers in and around Karamoja is critical to providing security in the country. 9. Rolling out a community service order program across the entire country in order to reduce prison population and ensure proper adjudication of justice. 10. Amendment of the NBO Act of 2016 in order to do away with restrictive provisions that require multiple registration so as to broaden operation space of the civil society organization. This, Mr. Chairman, will ensure accountability of public resources as well as complementing government efforts in developing communities. And lastly, we are keen to allocate funds to Uganda Police Force to integrate, monitor and maintain CCTV cameras as well as roll the project across the entire country for efficient crime prevention. This will sustainably reduce crime in the country ultimately. Mr. Chairman, I beg that you allow me, for the sake of emphasis, revisit the issue of auditing the proposal to audit the police force before I wind up. I beg that you allow me to take you back there. Mr. Chairman, I have this information for the committee. It was number 2. Number 2, consolidate resources at hand, train police officers. Recruitment should be on replacement basis unless and until a proper personnel audit has been conducted. Mr. Chairman, the information I want to give the committee is, as your shadow minister, that it was reported by Observer newspaper in December 2023, on the 2nd December 2023, under the heading Manpower Audit reveals 2,000 ghost police officers, that on the orders of the IGP Ochola, an audit was carried out by police, and it revealed that in the force there had been 2,000 ghost police officers who continue to earn salaries. Mr. Chairman, it will be recalled that at the handover, as he was handing over, IGP Kaihura said that he left a force of 46,000 personnel police officers, and that was in 2019. That he had left a force of 46,000 personnel. In 2019, at a pass out that was conducted in August, Uganda got 4,809 police constables. 4,809. In 2021, police passed out 5,000 recruits. We are told that on average, police retires 500 personnel each year for having attained retirement age and health-related matters. By now, therefore, Mr. Chairman, Uganda would have a force of 56,000 personnel. If police has been retiring 500 personnel in the last 5 years, we would be left with 53,000. That is every year would have retired 500. 500 times 5 years, that would make 2,500 personnel. So that will give us a balance of 53,000. It will be less than 50. It will be 50.
Honorable Chair, the Honorable Minister is trying to say that if the figures were as they are stated, then by now would be having a force of 53,500 if you subtract 2,500 from 56,000. So it would be around 53,500,000.
And what is the police force now?
However, in a brief to Mr. Museveni in December 2023, it was indicated that the force has 49928 personnel, which includes 2,000 police constables integrated in the force. Numerically, it means the force has lost 3,000 officers in desertion and retirement in less than 2 years.
Honorable Nambooze, you are reporting that considering the recruitment and the retirement, the police force would be 50,000. And again, in your report, you are reporting that when they were briefing the president, the force is 49920. That is 49,920 with a balance of 80.
Mr. Chairman, what we want to show the committee is that figures are not coherent. At one time, they report that we are 53, we have 53,000, if you calculate. Then in the other reports, they indicate that they have 49,000. That is why we are saying that there is a need to audit the police force to be able to find out exactly how many officers we have, and also to put into consideration the fact that according to Mr. Ochola, the report that was given to him, it indicated that we had 2,000 ghost police officers earning a salary, and that report has never been followed up. So we want to convince this committee in its recommendation to recommend for an audit of the force, so that we would know for sure the number of the police personnel we have. When you go into the police statement in all years, at pages where the force is supposed to give this committee information about the human resource, it is indicated that it is not applicable. And I don't agree, Mr. Chairman, that it is not applicable for the ministry to declare to this committee the information about the police force.
Honorable members, and I think here what we need to do, because it is reported in December 2023 about the manpower audit, and now this is April 2024, about 3 months later, that we again need to do another manpower audit, and probably maybe basing on the submission of the shadow minister, there is a need to follow up on the actions taken on that that particular manpower audit. But if we, I don't know, probably we have captured it, but we need to follow up on that manpower audit that was reported in 2023, just some few months ago.
Mr. Chairman, I also want this committee to make a ruling whether it is proper for the minister to submit a police statement, and when you look at page 354 and page 355, it is indicated vote 140 for Uganda Police Force, and then the item is police personnel information, and then it is indicated that this is not applicable.
Police?
It's here. On the item to do is giving this committee information, giving Parliament information about the personnel information about police personnel. And they say unestablished analysis, and it is indicated that it is not applicable. And then they go at page 355 and say, vote 144 Uganda Police Force, table 9.2, staff recruitment plan. And they also say, not applicable. Why is the minister keeping this information away from Parliament?
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Shadow Minister. I think, I know it is a requirement. Honorable, you wanted to say something?
Thank you, Chair. I'd wanted maybe Honorable Minister here to clarify a bit of something called ghost. I don't know what she means by a ghost. That is one. Two, she is referring to the report of the IGP on the audit, and I believe nobody directed the IGP to do it, and I still believe it is in the interest of the police leadership to make sure that they have manpower to enable them execute their mandate. To me, Chair, I would believe that we allow the police to do their work, and we don't need to involve ourselves in if they did it without our directive, they can still go ahead and do it. So that's what I would suggest.
Yeah, absolutely, and maybe about the manpower audit, about the 2,000 ghosts and what not. Probably that was the matter that was reported in the newspapers. And we don't have privy to that information of the audit report, of the manpower audit report. Maybe we shall follow it up with the police authorities. And luckily enough, the Shadow Minister is a member of the committee. We need to follow it up, and the police will report back to the committee about the manpower audit and about the allegation that it was found out that there are 2,000 ghost police officers whose locations are not known. But that is a matter that was reported in the media, and the Honorable Shadow Minister, as you are aware, that sometimes we base on facts. If you have a copy to the report, you can submit it to the committee for further scrutiny, or if not, then we shall pick interest in the matter and follow it up with the police authorities. Thank you. Members, for the interest of time,
Mr. Chairman, I beg that you give me an opportunity to say something about that. Chairman, a ghost in this presentation is a slang that means a non-existing person captured as if living to corruptly use that assertion to mislead, misinform, and even at times to fraudulently earn. When we talk about ghost policemen, we mean to say that they are policemen, they are names of people, their names indicated as if we have serving policemen under those names, while in actual fact those people don't exist. But Ugandans continue paying them as if they are serving police officers. Mr. Chairman.
Honorable Nambooze, we are not questioning that.
He asked what is a ghost.
Yeah, we are not questioning
Honorable
that.
asked to know what a ghost is, what I was meaning by the word ghost. To Mr. Chairman, I beg that this committee gives this matter a hearing. One, that this is not just a hearsay. This was an audit that was done by police. And if it is your request, Mr. Chairman, I would go ahead and present a request to the IGP to bring to this committee that report, because it did exist and it was reported officially. Mr. Chairman, we cannot also say that we leave police to do its work. Hiring ghosts is not part of the police work that we should leave it to do. If there is a doubt on the number of the personnel we have,
Honorable
Mr. Chairman, and the police has an opportunity to present.
Honorable Nambooze, a moment. I think you need to get Honorable Weru's submission correctly. By saying that we should leave police to do its work, this is whereby the manpower audit was initiated by police. And the police had intentions of carrying out that manpower audit. So his submission was that since the police had objectives of carrying out that manpower audit, so it was in its interest to make sure that
Tukizudde nti nno eggye lya poliisi ya Uganda lirimu abasirikale 4,928 kyokka nga okumala kati ebbanga abakulira poliisi bafulumya omusaala gwa basirikale 5,013 ng'ekyo kitegeeza nti nno munnayuganda bamusasuza omusaala ogw'abasirikale ab'empewo 2,000 buli mwezi n'ebikozesebwa ebirala ne kalonda yenna ku bapoliisi 2,000 abataliiyo. Ekirungi obujulizi tuze nabwo era ne komiti ekkiriziganyiza naffe nti kituufu omusaala gubadde gufuluma mungi okusinga obungi bw'abasirikale, nga kino kyeragira mu lipooti ze baakoleza emirundi ebiri nti baakola lipooti eri omukulembeze w'eggwanga ng'eraga omuwendo omutuufu ogw'abasirikale abaliwo, abasirikale 49,928. Kyokka eno mu palamenti ne baleeta bajeti ng'eraga nti ate beetaaga omusaala gw'abasirikale 5,013 era omwaka mulamba oguyise sente ezo bazitutte. So ng'ekintu kino kyazuulwa mu mwaka gwa 2019 bwe mwami Ochola nga yakafuuka IGP n'ateekawo okubuuliriza ne babala abasirikale muntu ku muntu ne bakizuula nti mulimu abasirikale ab'empewo 2,000 naye era n'okutuusa na leero babaleseemu ne basigala nga bakyaba ng'emisaala gifulumira ku mannya gaabwe n'ensente endala nnyingi. Kino nsabye palamenti ereme kukkiriza kuyisa bajeti ya kitongole kino ekya poliisi okuggyako ng'abasirikale bano ab'empewo bamaze kuggyibwamu. luli babadde bagamba nti obujulizi tebuliwo naye kati kikoze bulungi nti obujulizi tububaleetedde mu ngeri entongole. Ekyokubiri, poliisi eno yajja mu palamenti netegeeza nti eyagala okuwandikayo abasirikale abalala 25,000 olw'okukola mu biseera by'okulonda. Kyokka ate kakati bali mu kuwandiika abasirikale abalala 4,500 mbu bakole kulonda. Naye ffe tuwadde palamenti amagezi nti eyo bajeti teyisibwa, tekisaana kwongerako muwendo gw'abasirikale olw'okuba tulina okulonda. Okulonda kikolwa kya lunaku lumu. Waliyo abantu bangi nnyo abalina amagezi abaasoma ebyobusirikale n'ebyekijaasi nga bali eyo tebakola, abamu nga bawumula mu poliisi, abalala ba crime preventers ba Kayihura be yaleka atendese obukadde 11. Ffe twagala akakiiko k'ebyokulonda bwe katuuka mu kiseera ky'ebyokulonda kalange emirimu gino, abantu bagende bagisabe bagikole mu bbanga eryo, bwe giggwa bagende mu kifo ky'okugamba nti ate buli we tunaabanga n'okulonda ate tuwandiikeyo abasirikale abalala, so nga ate eno kiraga nti eggwanga teririna ssente yakuyimirizaawo basirikale abo. Kiba kibi nnyo okuwandiika omusirikale n'omukwasa emmundu nga tolina wakumusuza, tolina yunifoomu yakumwambaza, tolina na musaala gwa kumuwa. Obanga amugambye nti kati omuwandiise n'omukwasa emmundu yagenda bbe abantu. Ekirala, twagala gavumenti ya Uganda ekale amaaso omulundi gumu eyatulire bannayuganda nti tekyasobola kuyimirizaawo poliisi, kubanga ne foomu esembayo okuba entono ku poliisi omuntu agisasulira. Ne bw'owaaba omusango bakusaba ssente ez'okugenda okukwata gw'owawaabidde, ne bw'owaaba omusango bakusaba ssente ez'okuwa ebbaluwa z'abasawo, nga byonna batunda bitunde. Abantu kati tebakyawaaba misango. Bwe bakubba essimu olugenda ku poliisi bagamba leeta $20 tutandike okubuuliriza, ekivaamu abantu ne balekeraawo okuwaaba emisango. Kati twagala gavumenti bw'ebeerabira ddala nti tekyalina busobozi bwa kuyimirizaawo kitongole kya poliisi, bifuuke nga bwe biri kwero si wano nti omuntu bw'agenda owaaba awaayo empaabi. Kimanyibwe mu butongole nti ssente zino zisasulwa n'okugerekebwa zigerekebwe, omuwendo gwazo omutuufu gumanyibwe, okusinga kati ekiriwo nti omupoliisi gw'osanga ku kawunta yakulamulira z'ayagadde.